All right, folks, it's another Friday here, and we bid you welcome to the month of March. Do you remember, as a literature student, Julius Caesar's famous story about the Ides of March? The Ides are here, and I hear they are not gone.
On the first day of March.
Okay, then, welcome to this show. But today on the program, let's tell you this. APC National Working Committee suspends Governor Amosun, Ogun State, Governor Okorocha, Imo State, recommends their expulsion from party. Police arrest 128 persons for alleged electoral offenses, and later on, National Peace Committee meets with Atiku and others over outcome of presidential election. Let's report. I'm hanging out with Kolade Otitoju, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, and Charles Ideho. Jide, good evening to you.
I agree too.
Charles, welcome on a Friday.
Thank you.
March 1st.
Yes.
Beware the Ides of March.
Ides of March, that's the
Yeah.
Caesar. Yeah. But we don't
Okay,
want
then.
this anymore.
The team is ready. I hope you are. Let's go. You know, the National Working Committee, NWC, of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has suspended Governor Ibikunle Amosun of Ogun State and his Imo State counterpart, Rochas Okorocha, from the party. The NWC also recommended their expulsion from the party to the National Executive Committee. That's the neck of the party. The decisions were taken at the NWC meeting this Friday in Abuja, where allegations of anti-party activities were leveled against them. Jide, the Ides are here.
Yes, so on the first day of March. That means March could be a potentially slippery month.
Slippery.
Yes, to be all the quite slippery. So, but this should have come a long time ago.
Okay, you saw this coming.
No, the party should have sanctioned both
Okay.
men a long time ago. See, we do so many things based on sentiments. The party has rules. You cannot promote another party while still in the APC. So, and both of them significantly are even holding on to APC tickets. And they contested, or were holding on to APC tickets, and they contested the senatorial election last Saturday. Both men won. In the case of Okorocha, he promised that he would deliver Imo to the president. He didn't deliver Imo to the president, but the president
But
got
do you know you
about
can
25%.
interrogate that a lot more, something further. Is it 25% of the total votes cast or majority
Total
of the
state, no,
He
just
said he
state.
would deliver the
State,
state
not
to
the percentage.
that we are in charge here. Will deliver the state. He didn't deliver the state. Amosun delivered the state with a wide margin, but
against the odds?
against no.
What's
You
expected?
see, there are many variables that made that to happen. Don't forget that the PDP too had their own crisis.
Oh, yeah.
And elements opposed to the emergence of Buruji Kashamu and Dr. Ruben Abati as the candidate, as the governorship candidate of the party.
And deputy.
They felt they were angry, and they decided that I'm talking about the supporters of Adebutu, and they voted for the APC. So that was why, naturally in Ogun State, like any southwest state, the margin between the PDP and the APC is usually not,
not
very
wide,
wide.
yeah.
But we saw APC winning easily in
That was
Ogun
a
State,
statement.
despite the crisis.
That was
within.
a statement.
Yes, it shows clearly, that the PDP members of the Adebutu faction
okay.
gave the APC their votes.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I have no means by which
okay, go on.
I can know what goes through.
I don't.
To read the mind.
So, and people had been accusing the president of acting in bad faith over this matter, because the president in those two states, during the president's campaign, instead of telling the voters to vote for the APC,
the
the president,
states.
in those two states, just those two states. He didn't do that in Gombe. He didn't do that in
Rivers.
Kano, another place
it
where he
would
went
be
to.
a choice.
But in those two places where the two governors rebelled against their party, the president said, if you vote for candidates of their choice. No, you can't do that. The rallies were APC rallies. And it follows that any candidate that
the party.
of the party should be the one that you will promote at the rally or rallies of the party. We said at that time that the president was wrong. But of course, the president, we've literally deified the president to the point that whatever the president does, even if it is wrong, there's always a battery of sycophants who will tell you, no, there's nothing wrong in what he has done.
I register that those are your words.
Yeah.
No, I think, but I mean, it's,
Are
it
they far away from your
far
words?
away. It's public knowledge. I agree.
Yeah, so we told the president that it was wrong. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
But the president didn't want to offend them. Because not only has Amosun been the president's friend for decades, a close friend of the president for decades, the president also needed the support of both men, being the chief executives of their state. So anything that would make him lose their support, he was not prepared to do it.
Jide,
so that was why
before Charles
he
comes
took that
in,
decision.
How do you rationalize Governor Amosun taking the party from the other, with another flag to the president?
That is why we criticize the president. Okorocha didn't even do that. Okorocha didn't do that. But he took the candidate of a different party to the president, and both of them lifted up.
4 by 4.
The three of them lifted up 4 by 4.
No, 4 plus 4.
Okay, now 4 by 4, 4 plus 4.
Because 4 by 4
okay,
now
4 by
16.
16. Okay,
Okay,
4 by 4.
They
They
lifted up 4
4
plus 4.
not 4 by 4.
And I'm like, you shouldn't have received them, because if the party leadership was complaining about Amosun's conduct, you as the leader of the party, as the president, your actions, your body language must support the stance of the party leadership. But by opening your doors to Amosun repeatedly, as the president was doing, it angered quite a lot of people. But now, the president has secured Amosun's support. The president really doesn't need him to win a second term anymore.
That's
it. Now, anybody can take that decision. The president is now at risk of not winning Ogun, or not getting 25% or winning Imo. So the president now will not get involved in any punishment that will be meted to both men.
Charles, politicians in this country, I don't know about other places, tend to give permanent solutions to temporary problems. And see, in the case of Ogun State, how can you be inside and peeing inside?
And you're raising two flags. But let me disagree with Jide. I said that the decision should have been taken earlier than now. I think this decision that has been taken now, for me, is a master stroke. And I'll tell you why. And he also alluded to the fact that these two men are very powerful and also very, very strong in the states that they had sway in. For instance, if they had suspended Amosun then was like a bull in a china shop. You could lose the bull, not killing the bull, and you also lose your china wares. So, which was why I thought that, even though initially I thought APC should have acted swiftly and earlier, but with what I just panned out, what you are just seeing now, I see it, for me, it's like a master stroke. Because if you have done that, if you had suspended Okorocha and you suspended Amosun, the days preceding the election,
the apple cart would have been.
Honestly, exactly. So they could have done a great damage to the party's fortune. The president didn't win anymore. It's irrespective of that, but they could have done damage to the fortunes of the president at the polls, which is why I said that it's a master stroke.
You people will excuse this. The Ibibio people talk about the eunuch. I don't know if you have eunuch in your side.
I know of eunuch. I don't know how.
They say the way eunuch they behave.
Yes.
You can guess, but go on.
So, but I don't think there's any eunuch in this house anyway. So honestly,
I'm here to say,
well, I don't know.
No.
So
the
for
way
instance,
the
the way
eunuch
the eunuch
behaves.
behaves, yes.
and that's why.
Well, he
can't
said-
know
I don't
how
know, I
they
don't know, I
behave
don't see
because
one. I
I've
don't
not
know
seen
the
one
behave.
before.
I'm not saying you are one, no, or that you have in your.
So,
pattern.
for instance, let's look at Amosun. I mean, this is a man who superintended over he is still superintending over the affairs of a state as important as Ogun in southwest politics.
Yeah.
Okay, he had sway in Ogun State for 8 years, and this is the 8th year. I mean, and he also has his followers. He has a very strong platform, which of course the APC would need. So sending him out of the party prematurely, in quote,
Yeah, at
would
that
have
time.
spelled. Would have ordered a lot of this in Ogun State. As for Imo State, for instance, both of them are on the same cart. So I think that, for instance, whoever told the party, the president, or the party hierarchy to delay in the suspension of these two men, for me, is a master stroke, because they could have done damage pre the election. That's why I said I would disagree with him on that.
Maybe this is to underscore what Napoleon said. J.D. Charles Napoleon says, in politics, stupidity is not a handicap.
It's not a handicap. I mean, stupidity can also be something that you need for your fortune. Do you understand? So, but having said that, I also want to applaud the APC for having the political will to go this way, because you need for the party supremacy to reign.
Yeah.
If you allow personalities to start having to do all these things, engaging in anti-party activities, and then you are not reining them in, there's a problem there because a lot of people will do certain things and then they're not punished.
It is not out of place, Judy, to recall the Second Republic. That's not like 100 years ago.
I was in the 79,
chairman of
80.
parties at the national and state levels were in charge.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
yes.
okay.
I think
well,
everything has changed.
Exactly.
Now governors are in charge
The
of
governor
parties.
in charge
No,
in
the
the
thing
state.
is, that time is different from now. Party supremacy was quite the norm at that time, because the party sponsored
Candidates?
candidates to
Okay,
elections.
and not
Not individuals.
personalities.
These days,
Not
individuals sponsor
Yes,
themselves.
yes.
So when they get to National Assembly anywhere, they feel that they are responsible
Yes,
to,
yes, they
to
don't
themselves
need you.
and not to the party. And the way, the stranglehold that governors have on parties, is unprecedented in our history. You see, it all depends, because Charles makes it look like, because the president had those little votes from Ogun, then it was a masterstroke. There's no way it's a masterstroke. These two individuals may ultimately cost their parties the governorship in those two states.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, the president is just an individual. But if you lose two states that you used to control, look at the ripple effect that it will have. Look at how many people would suffer setbacks on account of that. Because if you are working against the candidate of your party in the state, so if care is not taken, they will lose Imo from a winning position, and they will also lose Ogun, because you saw. There's a story that Kazim Olowe, our correspondent, did. I hope the producers can find that story. You saw Governor Amosun gloating after his victory, and assuring that from today I will be leading the campaign of Akinade, and that was the person who was supposed to be in the rival party.
Was he listening to himself?
But
And then don't also
forget
forget that the crisis that happened, which led to the stoning of the president, was precipitated by the disunity within the party.
Yeah.
By the fact that the governor supported members, he encouraged members of the APM to dominate the arena when it was supposed to be an APC rally.
Yeah.
They not only dominated the arena, they destroyed posters and billboards of the APC candidate. And to cap it all, immediately the president took the decision to raise up the hand of the APC candidate, as if it was not the president's right to raise up the hand of the candidate of his party. They began to stone the president, and they were beating people up with blank sheets. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
To expand this logic in
Please
the argument.
take it home now.
Okay, let's expand the logic on this argument. Wouldn't it be better for you to win on one front instead of two? If he had lost Ogun, one front. I mean, now he has won Ogun State. If he had lost Ogun and lost the governorship, wouldn't it have been worse than that? No, that's why I based my logic on.
No, the thing is,
I based my logic on
you
that.
take decisions at a time when you needed to take decisions. You must take.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Other people, look, let me tell you, even if the president lost Ogun State, he
Yeah.
would still have won this election. What if we deduct Ogun State votes from the quantum of votes that is scored? It will not even make a difference.
But we cannot tell here what damage could have done even before now.
No, you see, the thing is, let's condemn what is wrong.
Yes, I do understand.
If you were the one from APC,
that's right,
and you were not a governor, and you committed such an infraction against the party, they will kick you into touch.
Yes,
now, that is the kind of treatment, because the rules of the party are clear. That is the kind of treatment that should be meted to anyone. Nobody can be bigger than his party. Yes, and that was the point that we were making.
But what I'm saying is
we were encouraging the feeling that, oh, some people are too big or too instrumental to be touched.
But it has turned out and not too big.
That's why they should have taken that risk at the time.
So why do you think that the party waited till now?
No, they didn't wait. Let me tell you, there was no plan. There was no plan.
Hold on. Nobody must win this debate. But the debate will continue. Politics is not an exact science.
That's right.
But in this country, we have 100 different ways of solving one simple problem, which is the politician. All right, so let's move on. Still to come, police arrest 128 persons for alleged electoral offenses. You want to stay on? Okay, then let's move on. You know, recall that late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's comment on inauguration morning on 29th May 2007 comes to mind here. The personable politician admitted unashamedly that the process that brought him to power was flawed, an obvious reference to electoral malpractices which have characterized our electoral system for years on end. Acting Police Chief Mohammed Adamu, while commending Nigerians for their massive turnout and orderly conduct during the last presidential and National Assembly elections, is however dismayed by the arrests made across the country in the course of the exercise for various electoral offenses. He wants the 128 persons so arrested to be investigated by the Special Election Investigation Team, SEIT, and bring them to book without let. About time, Jide.
Yes.
About time.
And I think that we are not doing enough to stop elections in our country being violent affairs. Across the country, voters were being intimidated, depending on which party is strong in a particular state. That should not be happening. That should not be happening. The police and the EFCC warned against vote buying, but from the statement issued by the police spokesman, many people were arrested for vote buying. You go to a state...
On the D-Day?
Yes, on the D-Day. A lot of the parties were smart. They actually, in the course of their door-to-door campaign, they were giving people money. So they didn't have to do it on election day. They didn't have to do it on election day. In fact, a friend of mine in Kwara was saying that, look, what pained him about the postponement of the last election was that he had just given out bribes to voters before the announcement was announced, because he gave out money between 8 and 10 p.m. in his constituency. Then Professor Mahmoud Yakubu struck around 2:30 by postponing the election. So they didn't pay them to know.
Some cynics will tell you, Jide, that no be money, but go on.
But it's not refundable. It's not
public
refundable.
funds, you see, people hardly spend such money.
Those monies are not receipted. So
No, not receipted.
And they
Yes.
are not subject to audit.
To all the
So such monies are
That's what
easy
they call-
to spend.
That's what they call Sarah.
Your own hard-earned money is difficult to spend on politics.
Yes, exactly.
It's only
They talk
for
of,
they say politics
the
money,
easiest-
you go put hand and
Yeah.
you not count.
Yes,
just-
the easiest money to spend, in politics is public
Yeah,
funds.
public
Yeah.
fund, that's right.
Because you just tell yourself you didn't really
You
sweat
didn't
for
really
it. But if you battled, you have a company where you struggle to pay worker salaries and you struggle to
fund, generate,
balance your
to
account.
balance your account.
To be difficult.
You will now go and be spending on some people on
Yes.
the queue. You won't do that
Yeah.
because you know the value of the money.
Yes.
So this is the thing. You go to a place like Rivers, citizen. My wish is that the cycle, the endless cycle of violence in Rivers State during elections, we have to find a way to solve the problem. We have to find a way. Someone asked me, why is it that every election these people will kill people, these people will behead people? And I'm saying that, look, it's not difficult. Check some of the people in the occupying political positions in Rivers State. Some of them are in the House of Assembly. These were former militants. So if you want to take their elective positions from them, you should be ready to get into a fight.
I agree.
Because they would, whatever it takes, they are going to deploy to make sure that they
retain
hold
their
on
seats.
to their positions. And they don't care, they'll spend money, they will deploy killers and all that. Look, how can, when militants go and ambush soldiers, it happened. It happened
A commissioner of police was messed up where? The same Rivers?
No, in
Bayelsa.
Bayelsa. Well,
they were dragging him
Assistant
dragging
Commissioner
him
of Police.
like a pickpocket that was caught in the middle of the market.
Because the man decided to say no.
Because he said, no, don't
I won't
allow you
be obedient.
to snatch ballot box.
Yes.
And they were a whole DCP. But you see, we must, like that, those boys that we saw their pictures on social media, what we should be asking for is that those boys are put on trial. Examples made of them. This is what we don't do. That is why these things, we have not been able to
What
end this
about the
violence.
drummers
The-
for
the-
those
the
boys? The
principals.
drummers.
The
That is
principals.
that is the same question that the Emir of Kano asked. The Emir of Kano said it's not enough to be arresting
Foot soldiers.
the food soldiers of
When
these
the
guys.
generals are there.
The people who send them.
That's
right.
it. That's
Go-
it.
Why don't you
Go
pick
after
them up? The day we start making examples of some politicians who are noted for their aberrant behaviors, honestly, those politicians will stop. Because they don't, you see, the big men don't like being embarrassed, though. And they don't like to lose their freedom even for 1 minute. Because the things that they are used to, the women that they are used to carrying, the drinks that they are used to drinking, they know that when they are in detention, nobody will afford them all
The
of
comfort
that.
will be seized.
Jide, don't vex.
The comfort will be taken away from them.
No, so,
You are jealous of these people. Just ignore him.
so because I mentioned say they carry women.
As if you did there.
No,
But you see, for once, it's not just the dancers, the drummers must also be in the picture and make an example.
Yes.
It cannot be asking for
Yes,
too much.
I mean that should be part of the job description for the special electoral investigation team that the police has set up. That should be part of the job description for them, because you don't, as I said, you don't just arrest foot soldiers. Foot soldiers were commanded, and they are commanders. Foot soldiers cannot go on the field to begin to carry out activities except, I mean, by the command of a general somewhere. General, I mean, in a manner of speaking. So except to pick up, it's just like I can liken it to when we were growing up in those days in the villages, we had ant hills where you have the queen that was multiplying the little ones and so on, and you have soldiers. So by the time you take
And
the
very
queen,
heavily protected.
yes, but by the time you take the queen, give that ant hill 1 week, it will collapse.
Yeah.
But you destroy the ant hill and the queen is still in existence. The ant hill, give it about a few hours. They build up again.
That's it.
So it's the same thing you have with all these boys who are carrying out all these nefarious activities around the areas. But so except what the police should be doing is that once they have, thankfully they are in their custody, they must drill them. Drilling in I mean, according to law anyway, they have to investigate and interrogate them whether they can release the names of the identity of those people and then go after them. So do not allow anybody to be too big, or you see people to be bigger than the law. Arrest them, as Jide said, take away their comfort for a while, even while they are still under investigation. Take away, lock them up. and I'm sure a lot of them, by the time they know that nobody is bigger than the law anymore, they will begin to shape up. For instance, all the ones we have had in the past, they have been arrested. Once the principals have won, it is the same principal that will go to the police, spend some money, and then these boys are released. So the boys now begin to think that they have protectors. And if you know you have big protectors, then you can do anything, because all you say is that somebody is there who is going to bail me at the end of the day.
They will say, one age.
Oh, well, and Igbo people will say, oh, go call remember that one? It's money that we chop.
I know they there.
Oh, go ahead. So by the time you find all those things, there's no way we can make it in the board. So what we need to do, first of all, on the other hand, I think as we are getting the electoral process cleaner, the number of these criminals are reducing. 128 compared to 2015 and 2011. By the time you look at it mathematically, that's about 3.5 persons per state. Apart from Niger State, you have about 10 of them that were arrested. So you just have pockets. But that's not to say that election...
No, there shouldn't even be
it shouldn't at all. But as we are beginning to clean up the system, I am sure by default, the number of people who are doing all this, either ballot snatching or all that, will reduce.
But you know, sorry, it's there in the it's there in the Electoral Act, 12 offences.
Yes, 12. I saw all of
12.
them. Listen.
And the highest is the highest sentence of 24 months.
24 months, that's 2 years.
Is the one for ballot box
snatching.
But shooting guns, scaring voters is even more dangerous.
Even more. But how many people have been taken in?
That's what we are saying.
So
you expect a new impetus around from the police.
We have. Okay, good.
And the general public. When anybody is made to face the music,
let the law not only have teeth, but let the law bite. For instance, if this were, you are talking about 24 months imprisonment now. If for instance, a student who is on 300 level, is a 300 level university and is caught, and he goes in, he forfeits his schooling. I mean, when he comes out, he becomes a jailbird. So he's going to lose it. Or somebody who just got married is enjoying his honeymoon and he's taking it. By the time he comes back, maybe 2 years later, maybe his wife may be warming the bed of other Homo sapiens.
Here we go again. Listen.
So it will serve as a deterrent.
Take this show away from there and bring it to the Hangout.
Okay, we are here.
Yeah, you did show.
I think that the problem is with our politicians.
Yeah.
As I've said repeatedly, that portion of the Electoral Act that affirms that where ballot box snatching, voter intimidation, and other unrelated offenses are reported.
Okay, reported, yeah.
The votes from that area will be cancelled.
Yeah.
It is a kind of incentive for the transgressor. The transgressor or the opponent who knows that he's going to lose that polling center will be the one to send thugs to go and disrupt voting. Now, we even had that even this last election, that even uniformed men were involved in disrupting elections in some places. So what are we talking about? It just underlines the fact that we refuse to grow.
Reportedly, except
we refuse to grow.
Don't forget that on this program, we talked about one of the pre-election wahala. Police uniforms were seized. Some of these uniformed people may not be real.
Well,
it's
subject
to debate.
Yes, well, that is assuming that they are not real. But we have arrested, in this country, soldiers have been arrested for armed robbery before. Soldiers have been arrested, in the company of kidnappers. Even the
have you forgotten
Evans matter. Evans matter. Remember, there was a soldier who was
exactly.
So let's not let's not rule out the possibility of.
It's all right. In Chelsea's state, you remember the great
Okay,
Yamu, ASP of police also, DSP. I can't recall.
Nah,
one of
yeah.
your
But that was in Bende, not Edo. That was in Bende.
But that's where you came from.
No, that was in Bende, not Edo. I mean, there's a difference between Bende and Edo now.
They were executed in Benin City. That is the capital of your current state.
But it happened in Bende State, not in Edo State.
They were executed in Benin City, the capital of your current state. So you cannot, and that name, Iyamu, by the way, is not a Delta name. It's not a Delta name.
It's our name anyway.
You know, so even when the two states were carved apart, that name did not go with the other side.
When they say their state, no, they take last.
Where did
Then they come second.
They know they agree. They know they agree.
Okay, we must take this home.
Okay.
We are saying, as an overview today, in taking it home, punishment must be meted out, and so that the human rightists, we are saying so that the human rightists and the rule of law mongers will let us be.
Yeah, see, the politicians will be the ones to make that phone call. I understand you are keeping about 15 guys. They are my boys. Release them. Please release them. Abuja, they will take criminals from here and lock them up in Abuja. In fact, Abuja will order that the police commissioner surrender those people.
Yes.
It is from Abuja that they will be released. You hear all the time that we've arrested people, but you will never hear that we brought them to justice. It's a problem. It's a problem. Electoral offenders, how many have we seen that have been prosecuted and jailed?
That's why
if we do not serve justice to them, then they will not stop.
Where the deterrent?
Okay, so let the debate continue, but at the hangout here, we laid bare, rake up the facts, allow you to make up your mind. Okay, you know, it's appropriate here to remark that before the 2015 general presidential polls, then President Goodluck Jonathan signed a pact with the National Peace Committee. After the results were announced, in spite of the histrionics by a certain elder Godsday Orubebe, the result was a concession of defeat by then #1 citizen. In 2019, yet another peace pact, supervised by the same National Peace Committee and signed by many candidates, is giving way to palpable tension in the land. Peace Committee Chairman and former Head of State, retired General Abdulsalami Abubakar, and some members met with the main opposition party candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, at his residence. The idea is to make the latter drop his threatened legal redress. Let's hear from General Abubakar himself. Please listen.
Apparently now tensions are high and we need to see how we can douse the situation. We have come to listen to the grievances from the PDP, and then we'll continue shuttling to see how we can make sure that this peace is maintained.
Sometimes when we talk about peace in Nigeria, gentlemen, we're asking whose peace?
It's also relative.
Okay.
Whose peace?
Is the peace of our people, not simply the peace of politicians. When these politicians fight, it is the ordinary man that loses his life. They don't die, even for problems that they instigate.
They have 9 lives.
They don't die, because it's just the poor people who go after one another, kill one another. These guys, the rate at which they even make up after a disagreement is stunning. So you tell yourself, look at these people hugging one another. You know?
Sorry, I hope you have not forgotten Zamfara man. Told the chairman of his party,
yes,
if them born you well,
he said his papa. He said for Shomole, papa born and well.
Make it come.
He should go.
And how many?
He said he's ready to go to the cemetery.
How many days ago?
They were
No,
they are back. They are back as friends. They are back. They are back. That is it. So you have to be careful with them. No, it's difficult to. I mean, it makes sense to not side with a politician. When two politicians are loggerheads, it makes sense to not side with one, because when they resolve their dispute, they will now put you in the middle. So you can't go to the right, you can't go to the left. This is what they do. once they make up, you are in trouble.
It's like you and your wife, they quarrel. Me, I can't put mouth.
You can't dey blame one person. You know,
When
when we
una
now
go
resolve
and-
the
and-
matter,
and no go dey
when
there.
we resolve the matter, you know, after a few minutes of pillow
That's the
talk,
pillow influence.
after a few minutes of pillow talk, you will be on your own.
Say, I thought Charles was a good man.
That from that day you
No,
won't,
he didn't mention
you won't be able to enter our house again. So that's the way it is with them. But honestly, the there's tension in the land, and a lot of people are not happy. And these old men, Abdusalami and the rest of them, felt that look, this is the right time to move in. I don't think it's simply to stop Atiku from going to court. I don't think anybody will be able to stop him from going to court. But we don't want the kind of rhetorics that can instigate violence.
That's it. That's it.
And at this point, they have to also talk to leaders of the PDP, I mean of the APC, because when you want to make peace, people must watch the kind of rhetorics emanating from their mouths. Because politicians, whenever they see a microphone put in front of their mouths, they start running their mouths anyhow, even putting the well-being of our country at risk. So at this stage, politicians must watch what they say. We don't want them to hit up the polity and instigate violence, because at the end, they are usually not the ones who die. That is why Dele Giwa said in 1986 that, unfortunately, in all wars, those who die are those who do not deserve to die. So the ordinary man does not deserve to die over the squabbles between politicians. So, but whatever can be done to make sure that this descent to violent convulsions do not happen. That is why I support the move to reach out to Abubakar. And a good thing, there are other Nigerians who talking to him and telling him that there's no need to go to court. You know, that the outcome of a court case like this is predictable. There's no need to go to court and all that.
That's it. And Charles, Alhaji Abubakar's speech raised 8 items.
6. Is it 8 now? They've added
6.
to it? I thought I saw 6 earlier.
Yes. They are up to 8.
Yeah.
One of which is defreeze the account.
The account of those who you suspected to be at the side of the opposition.
So, if you hold on to that.
Well,
and ask me if there will be this piece we are talking about.
Well, the question you asked earlier is whose piece? I was starting from there.
Yeah.
Your piece, my piece, Babajide's piece. Because if there's no peace in the land, I don't think we will have that this ease with which we are talking now, speaking grammar and all that. If there's no peace in the land, we won't have free movement from one point of the state or in the city to another. If there's no peace in the land, people can't go about their normal businesses, trying to raise money and raise funds for their survival. So that's why I said that peace, we must get it at all cost. Thankfully, this political rapprochement that is being embarked upon by these elders, Nigerian elder statesmen, is quite applaudable. But they must go the whole hog. Apart from pacifying the people who feel aggrieved, that's the opposition right now, they must also look for ways where we can begin to start nipping in the bud those things that cause all these grievances. The PDP or Atiku, for instance,
many of which are avoidable.
Avoidable, that's what I'm saying, avoidable. Avoidable, yes. But I personally would have loved a situation, as they're talking to Atiku in this rapprochement move they're making, can we also test in the court? So that we can begin to enrich the civil jurisprudence as it concerns the political process. If you say, okay, you have been wronged, you have been cheated in some states or in some regions, can we test it? And the PDP is also saying that they have documentary evidence to prove what the line they are towing. So I'm thinking that in order for us to clean up our electoral process, for us to have that time where we'll get to, after the voting has been cast and elections finished, then when a winner comes, it will be indisputable. I'm just thinking maybe by about 99 to 1%. So that's what I'm looking for. But as we have looked at, we are still growing. As we call it, I think they call it our nascent democracy.
That's what I don't like hearing.
But the question is, when is it
After 20
necessary?
years.
When is it necessary going to get to latency? I mean, I don't know whether it's after 20, maybe after 40, I don't know. But what I expect Atiku to listen to them. The country belongs to all of us. We're all Nigerians. There's no Ghanaian amongst us. There's no Togolese amongst us. You have been wrong, according to him. But can we look for a way to because the food, so that all the people who are followers now, they are waiting in the weeks to see whether just a single pronouncement can cause any conflagration. Then we also look at Shomole. He had a press conference today where he was saying Atiku is not destined to ever be president of Nigeria, that he's too desperate, he's too arrogant, that even the promise of selling an APC, how we sure he has not even received what do they call it? Some money you pay in advance. There's something they call advance payment. So, but such things coming from somebody as highly placed as Oshomole, then Abubakar's team, they should also go to Oshomole and tell him to please to moderate his speech, tone down, because that also cause conflagration. Because why you are looking for, we are embarking on political rapprochement, and somebody else is talking taxlessly, I don't think it's going to all go well for all of us.
Since politics became a permanent engagement for the political class, we had these problems. They're endemic. The problems are here and may not go easily away, don't you think?
No, the problems will not go away because behind those problems are individuals, selfish individuals who profit from those problems. And frankly, I have always wanted us to improve on our electoral process. And it appears everyone has left us behind in the continent. Everyone,
Togo,
everyone conducting elections now, and in no time you know the
Senegal,
winner.
on Sunday
Not
and
just,
then by Monday
not
they
just
come
that you know the winner, you see clearly that the winner is the person who deserves to win. And there are no controversies about who truly should have won. I've said before that ANC, as powerful as they are in South Africa, because up to today, no single party can defeat the ANC.
For now,
Yes, they may have lost some of their influence and all that. But when they had the municipal elections recently, the strongholds, some of the strongholds of the party were lost to these little parties that came together.
The regional parties.
Yes, the municipal elections.
Yes, that's right.
Places like Nelson Mandela Bay, where some of the biggest anti-apartheid heroes came from, they lost. But nobody complained.
Unexpectedly.
Well, people could say that some of, it was during Zuma's time. People could say that the anger in the country and all that led to it. Something causes something. But the truth is, this was a bad result for the ANC. But the ANC and the other parties, they took it like this is no big deal. Because
as they say, with equanimity.
Yes, because the process was transparent. We must get to that point when we can do elections in Nigeria and you won't hear that youth corps members, innocent youth corps members trying to make the process transparent, serving their country, are being harassed, beaten up, slapped, and forced to sign result sheets, and made to even supervise the mass thumb printing and all that. It still happens in our country.
It does.
So this, as long as we have not moved to that point when you can say any election conducted in Nigeria, you can vouch for its fidelity, politicians will complain after every election.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So politicians will hit up the polity after every election, because once they sense that it didn't go according to plan in a particular area, then their blood will boil and they will start complaining. It's the same. The Nigerian politicians have the same attitude across board.
Wh-
Whether
what-
they are the APC or the PDP, they are not really different.
Charles, when Elijah Atiku Abubakar is saying in PDP strongholds, permanent PVCs were not enough, and in APC strongholds, they made sure more than enough PVCs.
Well, I don't think.
Part of, yeah? That is
No,
part of,
I don't think that is. I don't think that was planned. May have been something that was for Twitter.
now, I'm saying that's what he said.
And that's what he said. What I'm saying is that, yeah, I mean, a politician will always say things that will interest the hearing of others.
Jide was suggesting to you, we should have gotten to a stage where if you beat me at election, I should call you, oh boy.
Congratulate you.
Next time, na me, you know.
Yes,
so
but we are not there yet because of all these irregularities that we're having within the system. That the electoral process is not yet clean enough for people to accept defeat easily. For instance, where Atiku is calling his stronghold, if you look at the political demography of Nigeria, you see where PDP actually is very strong. Okay, when you now begin to hear ballot box snatching and then people being teleguided to write votes, there's no way the politician who feels that he's strong, they will not raise dust, which is what we are having now. So, but we will get to it when the electoral process has become very clean that when you vote, nobody can tamper with it. Then I don't think anybody will have any kite of such of that nature to fly anymore.
Jide, you hear the sophistry of Nigerians, especially the middle class. So when are we going to go E? Is it too late, too early?
Well, I think that if countries smaller than Nigeria are going that route, nothing stops us from taking our first steps.
Yeah.
Towards that. They will tell you that electronic voting can be hacked, this and that. Well, you just have to start because it's better than this manual voting where some militant in River State will start chasing people away. You know, and stop people from voting.
And where you lock down a whole country.
Yes, it shouldn't happen. People in the UK on election day, even voting can take place in a school, and that school will not be shut. Students are taking instructions. Does not affect their schooling. People can go to the market, go everywhere that they want to.
You are casting your ballot from any angle.
On election day in Nigeria, we stop people from moving around. Even INEC officials who are taking ballot materials to the polling center where the VP voted, where the star boy voted, they stopped them on the way. And it was one of the reasons those guys didn't get to start the process until past 11. So if the polling center or the VP did not even start until past 11, you can imagine how bad it is. Our own crew members who were also going to the same area, it was the same way that soldiers stopped them. You know how soldiers behave, how they can sometimes be unnecessarily overzealous. When they are told, look, don't let people move. Why shouldn't people move around on election day? We should be moving towards banishing that kind of reality because it really doesn't show that we are making progress. We have to clean up the system. If we say that the electronic what was it called? The electronic validation device that we use is what we want to continue to use. Yes, let us continue to use it, but we must use it at all times. Because in this election, there are cases when it was not used. Across board, not just in the strongholds of the APC, but even some strongholds of the PDP. There were cases when polling officials put aside
and then went manual.
It should not happen.
Which is fraud.
If we say because the INEC chairman was saying anybody who does not use the electronic device, the smart card, what is it called?
PVC.
The
card reader.
The card reader is even liable to prosecution.
But they were allowed.
But people, a lot of the polling officials, how many people will President Mahmoud jail in the end? His own officials were busy circumventing the thing. So it doesn't make for, because I must admit that the smart card reader has helped reduce the quantum of fraud in our
That's it,
elections.
that's it.
So that's clearly the way we know it's not perfect, as we can see with even the Kenya election.
Yes.
That it's not a perfect device, but we
Charles-
must to make it work.
Charles, we can begin to exploit the situation where you are talking about an electoral system which will re-engineer itself, you know, because it can. It can,
Self-cleansing.
and allow the voter to determine who, as we take, I take you back to the second republic.
Who listen?
Party members used to contribute to the purse of the party,
yes.
and so they were equal joiners, as
equal
opposed
founders.
to equal founders and joiners, as opposed to one where you have a big man somewhere.
And then pulling the strings. Well, as we can't.
Is
for
it
us
too
to get
late?
there- No, it's not too late. But you see,
no, what I'm saying, we did it before. Is it too late to go back there?
But I think the times have changed. Now, as at that time, the stake was not that high, because I remember Padeshanya was saying when you had the National Assembly at the TBS, he paid him as a lawyer to pursue his brief than going to TBS to go and sit, because if you went there, you were paid. And how much you were paid was not comparable to what you would get if you got a brief. So for him is that people will look at the days, okay, this one is not too important to me. They stayed back at their offices. But the stakes are higher. Even people who have even
Then it was part-time?
Part-time. No, they paid them per sitting as at that time.
It was not full-time?
Not full-time. But right now, people who have even failed in their personal businesses, they just come up and then some godfather will sponsor them and they are there. They are earning so much money. So how do you, and they will fight for the retention of that.
They will rather die than
Yes,
lose the seat.
Then coming back to making the process cleaner, I think, for instance, where I covered the election for a radio station, I covered about 18 polling units that cuts across Ifakojaya and Ojokoro. Do you know at the end of the voting what they did was the results were already declared. So what then stops us? I mean the system from transmitting that result from the polling book straight to a server, a central server in Abuja that will now have a scoreboard displaying from Fakojaye PU to so thing. This is what was called. Then as they do the things adding up. I mean we have IT engineers in Nigeria that can do fantastic job to be able to capture this result. In that case, all you need to do for you to just log in, you are looking at that result as is coming. So in that case, you don't have to be bringing the result from Maduguri to Abuja.
I told people that
it will work.
India is a bigger nation.
Yes, of course.
That's the biggest democracy
in Africa, in the whole world.
And it's even projected to become the most populous nation in the world.
Yes, very soon.
In 20 years. If they can do an election and within
For
24 hours,
24 hours
as big as that country is, within 24 hours,
so how they doing it?
The votes are tallied and we know who the winner is. Shouldn't we now go and try to learn from them? We've picked up ideas from India before.
Yes.
Even our current power roadmap.
Yes, of course. I remember.
Was borrowed from India. The current power roadmap.
But how was it pasted?
So we need to look at how we can continually tweak our electoral process
and get it better.
Because
get
we
things
can.
right.
We can.
And once we do that, honestly, even governments that result from our elections will be responsive, will be responsible
because they
to
know
the
that
people,
they can't
and real growth and development will happen.
Start. Exactly, I agree.
I hear we must apply the brakes here, but not before thanking Babajide Kolade Otitojo. I greet you.
I thank you too.
Charles Ideho.
Thank you.
We'll do it again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
At least knowing that you are taking me out. I thank
And
you.
No,
the bill, you said the bill
what's today?
Today's Friday.
Yes, you
Thank
know
God
today
Friday.
is
I never knew
Thank God
this.
it's Friday.
I never-
Okay, we have been told that today is Friday.
I am not thinking what you are thinking. Okay, folks, that will just about do it for today. We have done our job, rake up the issues, allow you to make up your mind, let the debates continue. Also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms we'll show you on the screen now, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye for now. Take care.